All right, good morning. This is Nicole Whitlock with Ecom Sellers, and this is our weekly ecom planning session. We had a lot of stuff going on this morning, so we apologize for the delay, but we are live now. We're live on Clubhouse. We're also live in the e-commerce planning Facebook group. So if you want to download the checklist, you can go directly to the e-commerce planning Facebook group on Facebook. So type in e-commerce planning and go directly to that Facebook group. Go to the files section, and then you can download the weekly planning checklist. You can also download the daily and the monthly planning checklist. Next week, we'll be doing the weekly planning session on Saturday the 30th and the monthly planning session on the 31st. So, the first thing I do want to invite you all to do is to share this out with a friend, let somebody else know about the weekly econ planning session. We typically do these earlier in the day, but early in the morning. We just had a little bit more going on today. So we're glad that you're here. Again, please share this out with a friend. Let someone else know about the weekly econ planning session. It is all about increasing your productivity, increasing your focus, increasing your consistency in your e-commerce business. And if you're ready to take your business to the next level, if you're ready to start getting ready for Q4, we do invite you to get registered for the Ecom Q4 Summit. You can go to Ecom ECOM Q4, and then Summit, SUMMIT.com to get registered right now. We have 16 amazing speakers that are going to be sharing with you some tips and strategies to help you be successful this Q4 and beyond. So go to Ecom Q4 Summit to get registered right now and share that out with a friend. Let somebody else know about the Ecom Q4 Summit. So the weekly ecom planning session, you can download the checklist as I mentioned before. My name is Nicole Whitlock, and my passion is helping people on their e-commerce journey, helping them get focused, organized, consistent in their business, helping them to make the progress that they need to make in order to be profitable on this e-commerce journey. And so that's definitely one of the things we're going to be talking about in the Q4 Summit. So if that's you, if you need some help, some support on your e-commerce journey, you can schedule a free 20-minute coaching session by going to Ecom Sellers, ECOM Sellers, SELLERS.com, and then go to freebies and schedule a free 20-minute coaching session. I'd be happy to help you. We are in the second half of the year, so it's time to stop playing around with your business. It is time to buckle down, get focused, and get consistent about the things that you're doing in your business, the activities you're engaging in on a daily basis, a weekly basis, and a monthly basis. So you can hit those target numbers that maybe you established at the beginning of the year. And if you haven't established any target numbers, you need to get with the program and get some established so that we can get so we know what we're working for and what we're working towards. In any case, so if you need some help on that journey, I'm happy to help you. We also invite you, as the Ecom Seller Summit is for sellers, created for sellers by sellers, and the coaches are real sellers in the e-commerce space. Um, you can grab the ecom planner if you need to get focused. You can go to myecomplanner.com to grab your ecom planner. You can get the digital version for 40% off right now, so you can put together your strategy and your approach for the second half of the year. That is something that I believe that will help you on this journey. So grab it at myecomplanner.com. So I'm showing my screen inside of the e-commerce planning Facebook group. And as I said before, please share this out with a friend. Go register for the Ecom Q4 Summit. And in the weekly ecom planning segment, this is where we kind of talk about your schedule for next week and the things you need to focus on. So the first thing is that you're going to go through step one. We're going to build a template. The template is always used as an outline. It is the thing that we're going to be building our schedule every single week using. So then that way you don't have to start from scratch. When you build out your template, it makes it so much easier and so much faster to build your actual weekly schedule or plan or strategy. So building the weekly template is extremely important. Whatever template you build, you probably won't keep it forever. You'll use it as a starting point. And then from there, you'll tweak it. You may have 3 or 4 or even 5 different weekly templates that you use on this journey because of the fact that it's necessary. Um, if you have multiple weekly templates, it's okay. Sometimes we'll have a weekly template for the beginning of the school year, another one for, um, you might have one for the, after school starts. For me, I have 4, and I have them for different reasons. Like I have one for when my son is running track, so that we can participate and watch his track sessions because he is still in high school. And so again, you have to build out your weekly template as you go on this journey. The second thing that we're going to do is we're going to take that weekly template and we're going to build out our actual schedule, the schedule that we're actually going to follow next week, the actions that we're going to take. So, on this journey, it is extremely important that you understand that every day, every action you take in your business and in your life matters. Being intentional about those actions and the decisions that you make, all the simple ones and all the big ones, all the small and the big ones, they all matter because your incremental actions that you take every single day, they will help you to have incremental improvements in your business over time. So the choices that you make this week and the actions that you take in your business the coming week, that you take in the coming week, are definitely going to have a downstream effect on your sales. It's going to have a downstream effect on your profitability because of the actions and the steps and the decisions that you make this coming week. So let's work on getting better at taking the right actions and performing the right action steps and making the right decisions. So the second part of that is building out the actual schedule. And then after we build out the actual schedule, then we're going to actually execute the schedule. In the e-commerce planning Facebook group, there are 2 template schedules just as guides that you can go through and review. One of them is for a person that is doing retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, and drop shipping. And the other one is for a mom who works from home. And in both examples, one person is working anywhere from 15 to 20 hours a week in their business. The other person is working 20 to 25 or 30 hours a week in their business. You can even cut it down to 10 hours a week in your business. But when you're at the place where you're either in the beginning of your journey or you're in the middle of your journey and you're ready to become an expert in scale, then again, one of the things that you'll notice for those people who are $1 million sellers is that they're very, very intentional and very, very consistent about the actions that they take in their business on a daily basis and on a weekly basis and on a monthly basis. So what we want to do is we want to replicate what they do. It doesn't matter if you're a private label seller, if you're doing drop shipping, print on demand, if you're doing retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, if you're doing wholesale, it does not matter your method of e-commerce, and it doesn't matter your platform. You need to focus on consistent activities that you do on a daily basis to get the results that you're looking for. So if consistency is one of your challenges, then maybe what you're going to focus on this week is building out some habits that you're going to engage in your personal life and or in your business so that you can be able to build that habit of consistency in your business of listing, performing the income producing activities. Income producing activities, creating listings, that's an income producing activity. Another income producing activity is shipping, because if you don't get the product shipped to the customer, you won't be able to keep the money that you made. So facts. And then you have some other income producing activities that you need to engage in. But the ones that have a direct impact on your bottom line is the listing has to exist in order for people to find it and to buy it. And the second thing is you got to get it in the customer's hands so you can keep the money. Outside of that, there's several other income that can impact your income or potentially produce income for you, like product sourcing, where you source your product and how much you source it for. Product research, what you decide you're going to sell. Okay. All of those things have the potential to make you money, but until it's listed, it doesn't make you any kind of money whatsoever. It's just a habit. So don't be what I refer to as a collector, where you're collecting inventory, but you're not doing anything with it. So those are the 2 activities that we're going to do today. We're going to build the template, and then we're going to build the actual schedule. Let's talk about the template. You can create your template using Google Sheets if you want to. Google Sheets is just another form of like an Excel document. But it's not really Excel. The great thing about it is that you can use it anywhere, because if you have a Gmail account, then you can use that anywhere. You can access it from anywhere as long as you have a mobile device. So I encourage you if you don't have a Gmail account, to go create one. If you do have a Gmail account, you can go click on the Rubik's Cube that's up in the upper right-hand corner next to your initials. And if you click on the Rubik's Cube, it's the 9 dots. I call it the Rubik's Cube. That's probably not the technical name for it, but that's what I call it. If you click on that, you'll see an option for Drive. Drive will be multicolored. It'll be blue, red, yellow, and green, and it'll be like a triangle. Once you click on Drive, then you can click on once you click on Drive, a new window will launch, and then you'll have the ability to now create a Google Sheet. So again, great thing about Google Sheets is you can access them from anywhere. You can go out to dinner and access your Google Sheet. You can go on vacation and access your Google Sheet. As long as you have a mobile device, you can access it anywhere you want to. You can access it from your bed. As long as you got your phone, you can access it from anywhere. And you can make adjustments where you need to. So having a Google Sheet is sort of a guide on what you're going to do for the day is fantastic. And again, the template is all about giving you an idea of where you're going to be spending your time. What are the actions and activities you're going to engage in? The actual schedule is going to be the what. When I say that I'm going to be listing, if that's what I say I'm going to be doing as far as my business is concerned, the question is, what are the things I'm going to be listing? And so when you build your actual schedule from your template, you'll be able to say, this week, I am listing back to school. This week, I am listing whatever it happens to be. So I could be listing election products or things that are red, white, and blue, because Labor Day is coming up. I could be listing my Halloween bundles. So the what goes in the actual schedule. The template just says, hey, during this time, I'm actually going to engage in a listing activity. Okay. So once we have our Google Sheet, from the Google Drive, you're going to go ahead and click on Sheets, and it's green and it looks like Excel. And we're going to populate the columns. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to populate 3 different columns where we're going to fill in information so we can begin building this template. The first one is things that you already do in your life and in your business, because you can't run your business without incorporating aspects of your life. People like to segment the two, and that's fine. But the reality is, if you have a 9 to 5, you're going to work for 8 hours out of the day. And when you come home, you're going to spend time with your family. And it is part of the entire 24-hour day. If you have, you got to take your kids to the doctor's appointment in the middle of the day, you got to work that in with your job. It's just part of the way things work. If they change your schedule, let's say you have a job where you're working a schedule, again, you got to work it in with the job. So we're going to build the schedule out so that it is part of our life and not just isolating what we do in our business in a vacuum. So you're going to write down the things that you already do in this Google Sheet. That can be in column A, and you can fill in column B and C with the things that you already do, when you do them, and which day you do them and what time. In column D, E, and F, column D, you're going to write down things you feel like you need to do in your business. What are those things that you really need to be doing, and when do you do them, and which day of the week? If you don't do them right now, then leave that blank, because we're going to fill that in later. And then the last one is things that you want to or should be doing in your business. So that's going to be column G, H, and I. And column G, what are the things you feel like you should be doing, you're not doing consistently in your business? You're not doing them so that they can impact your business or move the needle, and you feel like you should be doing them, but you're not. And you're going to put that in column G. And then H and I, you're going to later come in and fill in when you should be doing them and what time, like which day and what time makes sense, or what time of day. Maybe it's the morning, it's the afternoon, or the evening. The other things that we're going to take into account as we're thinking about the things we should be doing is we're going to incorporate the things that we already do in our life around, just in general. Like if I go to church on Bible study on Wednesdays, I'm going to include that, because that's time that I'm committing and focusing on a specific thing that I feel like is going to improve my life or is going to serve me well. So those things we're going to keep on the list. The same thing with going through and, if you have other things that you're doing in your life, like maybe you work out every single morning. So that's dedicated time. And that dedicated time is something that is improving your life and or serving your life well. In other words, maybe it helps relieve stress. Maybe it sets the tone for the day. And so we're going to include all those actions and activities that we already do in our life on a daily basis. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to sort out these actions and activities from a business standpoint, we're going to make sure we're not missing anything. Sorry. So we're going to make sure we're not missing anything. Let's talk about some of the things that you might be overlooking or hadn't fully thought through. So maybe if you're engaging in a sourcing related activity, some of the sourcing related activities, you're going to have a sourcing block on your schedule that you're building. And again, you haven't built the schedule. You're just doing a brain dump at this point. So this is all about the brain dump, which is helping you to build the template. Um, so from a sourcing standpoint, I want to think about in a bigger picture, sourcing related activities that might be happening over the next 2 to 20 weeks. We are going into Q4. So clearly Q4 is going to hit within that 20 weeks. So those sourcing activities that I need to be doing, I need to be thinking about those now. The next one is holidays, events, and seasonal, like what's coming up. I need to be aware of that. And as part of my planning exercise or activity, I need to incorporate that into my planning strategy. Replenishables, consumables, maybe you do have products that you know are going to be sellers that are coming up. And so from a sourcing standpoint, I need to make sure I already have those products. They're either en route to me or I've already ordered them. And so sourcing is all about making sure that you acquire or you get that inventory and who you're getting it from. Whatever that inventory is, getting it from that, whoever that is. Wholesale and drop shipping opportunities. There might be some wholesale and drop shipping opportunities. There might be some bundle opportunities. There might be some private label and white label opportunities. So from a sourcing standpoint, I want you, when you're thinking about sourcing, again, if you say you need to engage in a sourcing related activity at a later point when you get ready to do the actual, these are the things that you might be thinking about when you're doing the actual. So again, we're building out what's called right now the brain dump, and then we're going to move the brain dump to actually populate a template for Monday through Friday or Saturday through Sunday. Okay. The next one is, what are the activities? Another one that you might be thinking about is that you probably should have, in addition to a sourcing activity, on your plan and your strategy. And when you think about sourcing, make sure that you're putting whether or not you feel like sourcing is something you're already doing and you're doing it well. Sourcing is something you're really not doing at all in your business and you need to start doing it. So again, you have that need column. Or sourcing is something that you do, but you don't do it as often and you really feel like there's an area opportunity for improvement. I want to get better at sourcing. Okay. Then the next one is research. You should have a research component to your schedule. Research can include product research, listing research, keyword research, and any other level of research that's necessary when it comes to your business. That's an activity you should be engaging in every week. So sourcing is an activity you should be engaging in every week as you build out this template. Research is another one you should be building out every single week as you build out this template. And if you're doing research and it's already like you have a certain day and time, then fill that in as part of your part of your brain dump. Fill that in. Again, as we get ready to build out the template, we'll get to that. Then the next one is, sorry, that was my alarm. The next one is listing related activities. As I said before, listing is something you should be doing in your business every day, pretty much. And if you're not, it may be because of your e-commerce method. And so you should probably be checking your listings or seeing if there's opportunities to tweak them or, bundles or making sure your supply is sufficient. So you might be sourcing to make sure your supply is sufficient, but if you're doing private label. But if you're not doing private label and you are creating products on a regular basis or sourcing products on a regular basis, or even doing product research on a regular basis, then you should be listing on a regular basis. So listing related activities can be anything from creating your title, your description, your images, editing your image names, figuring out your pricing, cross-listing it on multiple platforms, multi-channel, creating more listing videos of your product to include into the listing itself. And again, regardless of platform, we don't care about the platform. This is just an action that you should be doing in your business. So the question becomes, do you feel like listing is something you already do, something you need to start doing, or something you want to increase in doing? Okay. Figure out which one that fits under and put listing under that activity. Then shipping related activities, that's, it could be FBA, which is fulfillment by Amazon. It could be FBM, which is fulfillment by merchant or fulfillment by seller. It could be WFS if you're doing Walmart, which is Walmart Fulfillment Services. It could be that you're using a prep center or a 3PL or another fulfillment. You could be using some other fulfillment center. In addition to that, even if you've got integrations in place, automation in place, are you going through and confirming or validating whether or not that shipment went out? Are you checking it? Do you have an audit process in place? I'm not expecting this phone to go off. It never goes off. And so, so do you have a process in place to kind of check those shipments? And if you don't, that's probably something you need to look into as part of, you've got time. You're still in July. So if you're not currently checking shipments, if you're just assuming the automation is working as expected, I'm going to encourage you to actually begin the process of incorporating some level of audit. Now, you can have a VA do that if that works out for you better versus you physically doing it, but somebody should be checking. There's nothing like, getting a bunch of orders and having them processed. And then, 2 weeks later, you're getting a bunch of refund requests and you're trying to figure out why. And then it's because of the fact that the shipments weren't going out and the tracking numbers weren't being added and you weren't notified about it, or you weren't paying attention to make sure that the integration was working as expected. And now you got to deal with a whole bunch of refunds. That means you don't get to keep the money, which is part of income producing activities. So this is sort of an important thing. You want to make sure that things are running as they should. You should always know what's happening in your business. Then your administrative activities, is this an area that you feel like you run from? If it is, do you need to put it under the need to do, or should it be under the things you should or want to start doing? So administrative activities can include, running your platform reports, filing your taxes, doing bank reconciliation, account reconciliation, expense reconciliation, balance of the budget, building a budget, tracking your expenses, tracking your receipts, or, making sure you're scanning in your receipts. Order inventory, checking expiration dates, auditing your inventory, creating standard operating procedures, reviewing your prices, analyzing your data, reviewing your stats. You should always know where you stand in your business. And so if you feel like right now in my business, I am not doing enough administrative activity, or maybe I only spend 10 minutes looking at administrative once a week and that's it. If you've got some tools to help you with that, that's fantastic. But if you don't have tools, maybe that's something you want to look into before you go into Q4. This will be the window to implement it, not later. Don't try to implement it later. You want to implement it now because it gives you 3 months or the remaining 2.5 months to tweak it, master it, fix it, whatever. Like if you're using a repricer for the first time, then this will be the window to go through and learn how to use that repricing tool, master it, get comfortable with it so you can be settled into it and the usage of it before you go into Q4. Okay. Don't implement new stuff in Q4. Your goal is to stay the course and scale during Q4. That's the goal. Customer service related activities. Are you engaging in those? Are you checking, for questions? Are you going through and checking for returns or reviews or refunds? Are you looking at any of that? If you're not, that's probably one of those activities you should put into your template to say, hey, probably should be doing that, or I need to be doing that. One of those 3 columns. Next one is education. I feel like education is an unsung hero. I talk about this all the time. So the point is there anything you want to learn now before you get into Q4? If there is, then you need to make sure you're allotting time to do it. This is not getting sucked into the YouTube vortex where you're 5 hours later, you're coming out of YouTube going, wow. This is dedicating at least 1 to 2 hours every single week to learn a focused item. It could be your opportunity to go ahead and take advantage of watching those training videos that you maybe bought a long time ago and you never really watched them. That might be it. Or again, focus on one thing. Maybe this is the window to get better at keyword research, and you're going to focus on that for 1 hour a day for 4 weeks. That will have a direct impact on your Q4. Or maybe you're going to get better at product research. So 1 hour a day for 4 weeks. And that's going to have a direct impact on your business because you're going to implement what you learned about product research throughout the week. So if you're going to spend Sunday spending 1 hour learning product research, you're going to implement that throughout the week. That means you get to execute it over and over again. Too many times people learn something new and they don't immediately apply it. You need to, once you learn it, you need to immediately apply it. And sometimes you need to immediately apply it and teach it to somebody else. So it's ingrained in your brain and then it becomes an autopilot kind of situation. So, do you have education on your schedule for next week? All you need is 1 hour. That's it. And you need to already know what it is you're going to focus on in that 1 hour. Because again, you could get sucked into the YouTube vortex and 5 hours later, you're trying to figure out where you spent your time for the day. The next thing is marketing related activities or traffic related activities. Are you cross listing or sending your listings through Pingler or Ping Farm? Are you sharing them onto other platforms? Are you creating blogs around them? Are you running paid ads, paid campaigns? Are you doing any email marketing or video marketing? Have you been working on optimizing your listings? This would be a great one to learn, is to optimize your listing. Um, before Q4. So you could spend 1 hour a day for 4 weeks, 1 hour a week for 4 weeks learning listing optimization and then applying it as you create listings all throughout the week, immediately applying it. Working with influencers, if that's applicable to you, or promotions, creating coupons and sales. So, putting something on sale or creating a coupon where people can get a discount or whatever it happens to be. Are these things that you're currently doing in your business? If they're not applicable, don't add extra stuff to your list. Just take from it what's applicable to you based on the method of e-commerce that you're doing. So these are all things that are to jog your memory. These or to help you to start thinking. Are these things I'm doing in my business? Are these things I'm not doing? Do all of these apply to my business and my business model or the platform that I sell on? Or do some of them apply, but I'm just really not doing them at all? So go through and add the things that you feel like you already do under the already do column, the things that you feel like you need to start doing under the need to do column, the things that you feel like you want to start doing more of or you should start doing more of under the should column. And this is not the entire inclusive list. There's more to this list, but go through and determine what it is that you need to add under the applicable columns. And now we're going to take all of that information. And if you've already got the already do, these are things that are serving you well, and you're already doing in your business. Or maybe you're doing some stuff that's not serving you well and it's under the already do and you really want to tweak it, you need to fix it, modify it, or it's not serving you well, then you probably should remove it from the list or move it somewhere else. Do less of it if it's not serving you well. Now we're going to take that entire brain dump, and that we're going to say is on sheet 1 of this Google sheet that you created. At the bottom of the sheet on the lower left-hand side is a small plus sign, very small plus sign. We're going to click on that small plus sign. It's going to create what's called sheet 2. On sheet 2, we're going to start organizing everything that you have under the already do, need to start doing, should do columns. And we're going to, on sheet 2 at the top, we're going to put the days of the week. We're going to put Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We're going to put a space in between each column, so a new blank column next to each column, so we can put a time, or maybe it's a time of day. As we do that for each one of the kind of the bulk activities, because we're going to get into the details of the what here in a second, but the bulk activities, we're going to, make sure that those are in the brain dump. Then after those bulk activities are in the brain dump and of the weekly template, which is on sheet 2 of this Google sheet, we're going to move all those things over and we're going to start organizing them by things that we do either in the morning, the afternoon, or the evening, or you can organize them by time. You're also going to start organizing them by which day you either already do them or you feel like you should start doing them or you want to start doing them. And start putting them, rearranging them. The great thing about Google Sheets is you can type into each cell, you can copy and paste into each cell, and so that makes it easier to be able to fill this in. When you're done, what you're going to have is an outlined template of When am I going to be creating listings? How many times per day how many times per week am I doing it? So maybe I'm listing 5 days a week. Maybe I'm checking and auditing my shipments 3 days a week if I've got like integrations in place or automation in place. Maybe I'm doing product research 3 times a week. Maybe I'm doing sourcing. I'm sourcing, going out and sourcing or sourcing online 3 days a week. And so you're picking when you're doing these things. When am I doing my customer service activities? So you're building this template, okay, of when you're doing what, so that you can be a little more organized, more focused, and more consistent in your business. The next thing is you're going to try out this new template for a couple of weeks. Now, the template doesn't say what I'm doing. It's just kind of a guide of this is my routine, part of your routine of actions and activities that you're taking in your business. So that's all the template is at 7 o'clock, I go for a run. At 8 o'clock, I get the kids ready for school or get the kids ready for camp or whatever. At 9 o'clock, I start doing product research in my business. At 10 o'clock, I source inventory. At 11 o'clock, I create listings. At 12 o'clock, I check my shipments. So you're just kind of organizing your day so that it is actually a focused day. Or you can say, these are the things I do in the morning. I do these 3 things in the morning, these 4 things in the afternoon, these 5 things in the evening, and incorporate all of your life. You got to get the kids to bed if you have kids, or take the dog for a walk if you have a dog, or you're going to go out for your run. Like, incorporate the things that you do. Now that we kind of have a guide, that is what we're using. And you can go through and look at the weekly planning session. It'll give you that. Now we're going to fill in the what. So because next week, it's the last full week of July. Now we're going to make some intentional decisions on what we're going to be doing in those last full weeks, this last full week of July. So the first thing is we're going to eyeball or check whatever our monthly plan was. If you didn't establish a monthly plan, you probably should. What were the goals on your monthly plan? What were the income producing goals? What were the operational goals? What were the marketing goals? What were those goals? I just got a cha-ching on my phone. So what were those goals? Then the next one, that's part of like, okay, if you said in the last week in July that I was going to go ahead and start listing all of my Halloween, when you see on your new template that you created a listing related activity, the question is, what are you going to be doing? I am going to be listing Halloween. If I'm listing 5 days a week, I can say, okay, well, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm going to list Halloween. Thursday and Friday, I'm going to list, back to school, whatever it happens to be, so that this is a listing window and this is what I'm going to be listing. Okay. If I'm going to be sourcing for Christmas, then I'm going to say, okay, what am I sourcing for Christmas? What was the decision that you made around the things that you're going to be selling for Christmas? So if I'm going to be listing for Christmas, Christmas bundles, like Christmas stocking bundles, then I'm going to be sourcing for my Christmas stocking bundles when it says next week I'm going to be sourcing on Monday at XYZ time. What am I sourcing for? I am sourcing for Christmas stocking bundles. Okay. So as we go through and we look at the monthly priorities, the things that we had on our monthly planning checklist, then we're going to go and look and figure out for this week, what are the priorities for this week? Now, the priorities may change. The priorities don't always have to be your business. The priorities can sometimes be personal stuff. Like if you're going on vacation next week, you probably should be making sure you're pulling together all the things you need to do this week, so the next week you're not pulling out all your hair and you're not totally stressed out. Okay, that's probably a priority for this week. Pull out the luggage, pull out the whatever. Maybe next week, because your school is starting the following week, maybe next week is get your kids back to school organized. Make sure you find their backpacks and their lunch pails, and make sure their shoes still fit and their clothes still fit. Make sure you have the school supplies that you need. So sometimes the priority for next week has nothing to do with your business. And sometimes the priority for next week, and the priorities, because you're going to probably establish a couple of priorities, at least 3 to 5 priorities for the week, things that really need to happen next week. sometimes the priorities for next week have everything to do with your business. If if your school is not starting until September, getting your back to school listings up right now is pertinent. Like, it's extremely important. So maybe your priority next week is when you say you're going to be creating listings, the priority is get back to school listed no matter what. Or maybe the priority next week is figure out your Halloween bundles, like do your product research for your Halloween bundles, and then source for your Halloween bundles so that you can have Halloween up early. Or if you're doing print on demand, like create your Halloween designs early, like get your tags and your keywords and what's your design going to be. So you'll figure out what your priorities are. Are there any habits that we want to track? As we talked about before, if listing is one of those areas where you feel like I am not creating enough listings every single day, then this may be that window where you say, you know what? I am going to make sure that one of the things I'm going to work on every single week, and you're going to do this for 30 days, not just for, you're going to do it for 30 days, not just for, next week, not for 7 days. Something that you need to execute for 30 days consistently, or 60 days consistently, or 90 days consistently. So if I'm working on being more consistent about creating listings because the platform algorithm likes that, and I say, okay, I'm going to do a minimum of 5 listings every single day, that's what I'm going to be tracking in my habit tracker. Okay. And your habit tracker information, setting your monthly goals, setting your weekly goals, all this you can do in your My Ecom planner. So just letting you know. And then as we get into, now that we're still in the actual, so we're going to do all of this preliminary research before we fill in all of the things that we're doing on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So what are the products? If I'm doing product research and I have a block that says this is when I do product research, what am I doing product research on? If it says that I'm doing keyword research, like most of the time your keyword research and product research, there's a relationship between the two. So again, there might be some correlation between those, but what are the things that the actual thing you're going to be doing? What's your niche? What's your focus? Like if you're doing small appliances, or, maybe you sell electronics, or maybe you sell kids toys, maybe you sell baby stuff, maybe you sell pet supplies. Like, okay, what are the things that I'm going to be focusing on for next week for the things that I do sell? When you have listing as one of your activities for next week, again, it's not going to be once. You should be listing like every day if you're going to keep it 100. Depending on your e-commerce method, that makes sense. So I think all methods make sense for listing every single day. For private label, you may not have to create listings every single day if you have a singular private label product. But that does not mean that if you have private label, you don't have bundle opportunities. So that could be an opportunity for you to take your listing and pair it with something that is related or complements it or is an accessory to it in some kind of way, so you can get more traction on your listing and also increase your order value. So I'm just saying. So I feel like listing is something everybody should be doing. So what are the things that you're going to be listing every single day? Then shipping related activities. Again, if you got automation and you don't have to touch it, or you have an integration and you don't have to touch it, that's fantastic. Congratulations. But you still should be checking it. So if you do have shipping that's automated or there's an integration, when are you checking it? It's still a shipping activity. Or you having your VA do it and report back to you just to make sure all is good with the world. If you are physically shipping yourself, again, when are you making time to do physical shipments yourself? So, and what are those, of course, what are those shipments that you're doing? Whatever makes sense. So if you're shipping, let's say you're getting some inventory in from your wholesale supplier next week, then your shipment, I'm shipping to FBA, or I'm shipping to WFS, or I'm shipping the new inventory that's coming in directly to my, fulfillment center or prep center or whatever. The next one is sourcing related activities. So what am I sourcing for next week? As I said before, like I'm sourcing for Halloween bundles, or I'm sourcing for back to school. Maybe I'm sourcing for consumables. So I'm going to go ahead and start sourcing for pumpkin spice, because we know pumpkin spice is going to be nuts here in a minute. And then education, like what are the things that I intend to learn, that I need to learn, that I'm going to focus on for at least the next week. What are the things I'm going to focus on from an education standpoint for the next week? So if you want to get better at listing optimization, again, put it on your schedule. Then I have a time block for listing optimization training for at least 1 hour. And then you take that 1 hour and everything that you learn in that 1 hour, and you immediately apply it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, if you're doing listing optimization training on Sunday. Then the next one is your administrative activities. When are you engaging in those administrative activities for your week? Administrative activities, you should have at least 2 hours at a minimum each week that you're engaging in its administrative activities at a minimum. It could be 1 hour, but at least two. And then at the end of the month, you probably should set aside anywhere from 2 to 5 hours, depending on what needs to happen. And if you've got amazing software, that's fantastic, but you should have some time set aside to reassess and learn. And that's what we do in our monthly planning session. And then you also want to look at your online work calendar. You shouldn't be reacting to your schedule. You should know what your schedule is for your online, for your work, your online schedule for your family, for your kids. Maybe you have doctor's appointments and dentist appointments next week. That's going to force you in your actual schedule to make adjustments. So if you got a dentist appointment on Wednesday, you got to move some things around possibly if that's when you're actually supposed to be working in your business. The other thing is that you want to make better decisions going forward in the future about that, scheduling doctors or dentist appointments or other types of appointments when you say, I'm going to be focused on my business. So if you say, I'm going to work my business every single day, Monday through Friday from 9 until 12 or 9 until 1, then your goal is not to schedule doctor's appointments between 9 and 1. You don't want to break your routine, or you don't want to break your habit, because if you do, then you have a better chance of falling off the horse and never getting back on again. That's what happens at the beginning of the year. Something interrupts the routine or the habit that they're working to build. And immediately, when we're talking about weight loss at the beginning of the year, when people establish New Year's resolutions, something happens and causes people to fall off the wagon. When you fall off the wagon, sometimes people just never get back on. So they work out really hard all of the first 3 weeks of January. Then that fourth week of January, something happens and they don't get to make it to the gym. So then that means the February and March, the same thing happens again. So I just want to encourage you to put together a schedule and an actual routine that's going to work best for you and work best with your, what's happening with your life. Go look at your online work calendar, and don't be surprised by it. Make adjustments to your schedule so that you know what you're supposed to be doing next week with your online work calendar. If you got doctor's appointments in the middle of the day, you can make adjustments to be able to accommodate those doctor's appointments, and your personal calendar and your business calendar. Maybe you're supposed to connect with a new supplier next week. And so that's going to be extremely important that you start prepping for that and not be surprised by it and it just sneak up on you and you're like, oh, I probably should have been more prepared for this. So with that, go build your weekly schedule for next week. Use this, and you can come back and watch the replay. Build out your template, do a brain dump of the things first, then turn your brain dump into an actual weekly template. And then from your weekly template, build your actual schedule, the thing that you plan on executing next week, so that you know what you're doing on Sunday, what you're doing on Monday, what you're doing on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, every single day. Because God blesses us with 24 hours in the day. Of those 24, we are awake 16 to 18. So what are you doing with your 16 to 18 hours? You're not working in your e-commerce business for 16 to 18 hours. You're doing other things, including working in your e-commerce business. Do you have a dedicated window in which you work in your e-commerce business? If you don't, you should, because that'll make it easier for you to continue to follow that schedule. If you work in your e-commerce business every day from 9 to 11 at night, that is a dedicated, committed schedule. It's a routine that's easy to follow on a regular basis. If you're wiped out at night at 9 o'clock, so your productivity is going to go down, then don't try to work in your e-commerce business during that window. Find your most optimal time of the day and try to work your e-commerce business through that. So make adjustments to build a schedule where it is your most optimal time of the day to work in your business. That may mean getting up at 5 o'clock to work in your e-commerce business from 5 to 7 before you go to work. That may make a better schedule than working on it from 9 until 11 at night if you feel like you're more productive and you get more stuff done in the mornings than you do in the evenings. And some people are night owls, so they just burn through stuff at night. You'll have to figure that out. What's your most productive time of the day? Build a schedule when it comes to your e-commerce business to work your business around that most optimal time of the day. All right. So I hope this information is helpful. I do want to invite you all again to go get registered for the Ecom Q4 Summit. You can go to www.ecomq4summit.com to get registered. All you need to do is just, put in your name and your email address and you'll be registered for the summit. Again, go to www.ecomq4summit.com right now to get registered. It is, the only e-commerce summit that is designed to help people to have an extremely profitable Q4. We're going to be sharing tips and strategies to help you on your e-commerce journey. So go get registered right now, www.ecomq4summit.com. We have 16 amazing speakers that are here to help you to increase your productivity, increase your profitability, and to help you to win this Q4. So go get registered. Share this out with a friend. Let somebody else know about the daily ecom planning session. Also, let them know about the Ecom Q4 Summit. Invite them to register as well. And if there's anything that you would like for us to cover, make sure you let us know. Since we do these on a daily basis, we're going back to our regular schedule next week, which I'm so excited about. So you can typically catch us first thing in the morning. We will have a couple of sessions throughout the day where we're covering a few different things to help you on your e-commerce journey. So come follow us next week. Let us help you on your journey. Whether you're a new seller, you're an experienced seller, or you've stopped and started this business a couple of times, we want to help you because there is an opportunity for you to make some money. Even despite the economy and despite the inflation, people are still going to be buying. They're going to be buying. They're going to continue to buy products. They should be buying your products. So go get registered for the Ecom Q4 Summit. Download the weekly ecom planning session by going to the e-commerce planning Facebook group. Go to the files section and click on whichever one you want to download, which is the weekly planning session. Go read it and follow it and build your template for yourself. So with that, again, my name is Nicole Whitlock, and my passion is helping people on their e-commerce journey, helping them to get focused, get organized, get consistent in their business. If that's you and you're wanting to get more profitable, you can schedule a free 20-minute coaching session by going to ecomsellers.com, clicking on freebies, and scheduling a free 20-minute coaching session with me. I'm happy to help you on your journey. And with that, I hope that you have an amazingly blessed, extremely focused, and highly profitable day. We'll say goodbye for now. Bye, y'all.